Let's take some audience questions. First one from Tammy. David, you talk about being independent media, but I see people saying you were just like CNN and also that you are fake news. You do have advertisers. Can you explain how you are different from corporate media in a way that will end all the confusion? Okay, the fake news thing, we're not even going to dig into that right now. Fake news now just becomes code for news I don't agree with, positions I don't agree with. Let's talk about how we are different than corporate media. We do have advertisers, and I'll explain to you sort of how the entire thing works. We're mostly funded through the membership program by viewers, right? That's most of our revenue. We also are YouTube partners, so ads play before our videos on YouTube. We have absolutely no control over which ads play. The content we produce is in no way influenced by the ads that play. We just literally have no control over what ads play. And sometimes it leads to ads playing that don't really make any sense given the ideology of the show. And I think people have noticed that.
Yeah, or sometimes we'll take a position on the show and you'll see an ad for like a pharmaceutical company or an oil company, the exact opposite.
Exactly. And then we get to the advertisers, which is a very good question. We do have some advertisers on the show. Sometimes you will see me talking about one advertiser or another. Because advertising is a really small percentage of our revenue, and because of the way that these ads come to us through ad agencies, we have no direct contact with these advertisers. There's basically a total wall in terms of editorial. So we might get an advertiser, just to pick one advertiser here, like we might have an ad for Blue Apron or something like that. Blue Apron will buy some ads on our podcast, a couple ads here and there, one a week, two a week, through an ad agency. They come to us and they say they are buying on this day. We have the opportunity to either approve or turn down the advertiser. And I would not accept advertisers whose product or service we disagree with. So we have like a chemical company that is really not a company that does very good things. In fact, it's a company that we've done interviews where we're criticizing the actions of that company and we just turn them down. And this is a very, very different relationship that we have with advertisers than what you see on corporate media. The other thing that I want to mention as far as the entire corporate independent media thing goes is that we aren't paid by any of the platforms that we exist on in the way that stations are paid by cable companies. So when you have a network like CNN on Comcast, for example, CNN is being paid by Comcast to appear in that package. And sometimes it's a group of channels, sometimes it's individual channels that are paid in that way. We give the show away to all of the platforms that we're on. As a result of that, we are never influenced by what it is that those platforms want us to do. And every once in a while, we'll lose an affiliate because someone called up and complained and said they really don't like that David Pakman is saying X, Y, or Z. But we don't make any money from being on those platforms. We give the show, we actually produce the show at our expense and put it on those platforms. So that's another way in which we are not being influenced by the finances of these other organizations or entities.
And even if there could be the idea or an appearance of a conflict of interest, I've noticed you just turn the advertisers down. I mean, supplement companies, people promoting homeopathy,
yes,
and my personal favorite, which is bonus buckets. We can be just like Jim Baker.
Yeah, I could be selling food storage, Mormon food storage, or Jim Baker bonus buckets. Yeah, we actually had, Pat's referring to, I constantly talk about how I don't believe in sort of the bogus pseudoscience, supplement, homeopathy, all that stuff, because it's not science-backed.
I mean, some supplements, are completely science-backed. If you're not getting, getting, your nutrition, you got to get it somewhere else.
No doubt about it. And when we're talking about, vitamin D in New England or whatever the case. But we got this sort of like healthy energy snack. I won't even say what it is because people might be able to figure out what it is. They said, we want to advertise with you. They were offering money. They sent us samples. I looked at the product. It made completely non-science-based claims about energy boosts and brain function. And also the number one ingredient, when you looked at the ingredients, was sugar. How on earth am I going to justify or feel even remotely into the idea of suggesting to my audience that they buy that product, given my pro-science, non-pseudoscience perspective that I've been espousing for years?
Interesting. Now, if they didn't make all those claims about how this particular candy or chocolate bar, whatever it was, would boost your energy, would you still advertise for it given the amount of sugar that it has?
No, I wouldn't anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
why am I going to advertise candy like that in that way? I just don't see it. I mean, we've done like Sherry's Berries in the past, which is berries that are covered in chocolate, for example. And it's a special treat. It's for maybe Valentine's Day or whatever. In fact, I wonder if they're going to advertise with Valentine's Day coming up, or something like that. And I'm not suggesting people eat this as their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But yeah, like for example, soda. I'm not going to advertise soda on the David Pakman Show. I think soda is a disaster for people's health.
Yeah, you're taking a stand, and yeah, I don't think those bars may have tasted pretty good, but
Yeah.
not worth being advertised.
Not that you'd know, not
No,
that
I
you
didn't
sampled
know.
them or anything. And also, by the way, sometimes paid member, you could say, well, David, you're liable to you're responsible to your paid members in the same way that CNN is responsible to advertisers. We've asked the members who have written in saying, I'm going to cancel my membership if you don't change your view on X. I will immediately write back to them and say, we don't change views on issues because of the threat of canceled memberships. The whole point of membership is that you support the structure of the show and not that you're going to then withhold money because you might not agree with us on every issue. Try that one and see how far it gets you. So yes, Tammy, those are some of the ways in which we're different from corporate media.